Hi everyone. Good morning, good evening, namaste, hola, bonjour, and marapan. This is Namya Joshi, your host for the day. Welcome to episode 42 of the podcast Each One Teach 10, an amazing world of STEM, an inspiring venture where we all will be discussing that STEM is part of every day for every kid. We all will learn together how to build a STEM culture. Well, for today, my guest is Ms. Akansha Arora, who is a passionate educationist with an experience of 26 years. She is an Educator Innovation Lead in Flip at Microsoft India and is on a mission to empower every person on the planet to share their voice. She has served in the capacities of educator, academic head, principal, school mentor, and head training. As a curriculum manager, she rigorously worked on experiential learning methodology for 6 years and has trained more than 12,000 educators and 300 school leaders. Wow, that's really incredible, ma'am. So, how are you doing today?
Thank you, Namya. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's like a great opportunity for me to have you on my podcast and to learn from your insights.
Thank you. And I'm so excited to be here to be sharing this platform with you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, our audience are watching us live, so they are eagerly waiting to know more about you.
All right. So, yeah, I live in Gurgaon, India, with my husband. I have been into education for more than 2.5 decades now, and I joined Microsoft 9 months back. It has been an amazing journey. And before that, for 15 years, I've been in leadership positions where I worked rigorously for 6 years on experiential learning with a team of 60 people. And we created an entire curriculum package with the curriculum books and instruction maps for teachers, smart class modules, assessments, all based on experiential learning for students. And it was, very fulfilling work. And once we prepared that curriculum, then I got into training of teachers because teachers had to be guided on how to introduce experiential learning in their classes, and which was quite a challenging task because we had to work on mindset of parents who were really convinced about the conventional system of education, and then also mentoring teachers at every step. And finally, it was very enriching and fulfilling because we could transform education for the children in the classroom. And it was a win-win for everybody because the parents and teachers, when they saw the results in children, they were totally convinced. And that's how I got into trainings. Technology has always fascinated me, and during the pandemic I got to delve deeper into it, and that is when I upskilled myself. And then I trained school leaders and teachers to plan and implement online learning in their classrooms, moving on to blended learning. And I have trained quite a lot of teachers and school leaders since then. I also work with CBSE Centre of Excellence as a trainer, and also with Cambridge English Assessment. So yeah, that's about it. I love to read and travel. And I also love to spread the joy of reading, encourage people to read. And in my free time, I volunteer with the Community Library Project, where we work with underprivileged children. So I read aloud to them to, develop that love of reading in these children so that they become aware of their rights, as well as they get excited and motivated to study. So, yeah.
That's so inspiring, ma'am. And we share the same interests. I too love to read all the time. And may I know, like, what's your favorite book?
My favorite book, oh, there are too many. So, in fact, yeah, a whole list is there. But something that actually was life changing for me was The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, because that actually brings about a shift in how we think, and we see the power of actually wanting something from our heart and how it comes alive.
Right,
So,
that's so inspiring, ma'am. So,
thank you.
as we know, that Flipgrid is now Flip. So, as our podcast focuses on STEM, So, may I know from you that how to use Flip for students in STEM classes?
Great question. And yeah, Flipgrid is Flip now. And for those who don't know what Flip is, it is a video response platform for asynchronous student discussions. And the teacher creates a topic which could be a prompt for discussion, a question, an activity, or an assignment. And she shares the link with the students. Students access the topic with the help of the link and record their video responses. Plus, they can also communicate with their peers through comments. And how Flip can help in gets incorporated in STEM classes, I think it is very easy and it gets seamlessly integrated. So I'll give you some examples there. The teacher can create a topic where she inserts a STEM video, which she could record herself or attach a link from YouTube, and then she could give questions for children to answer. These questions could be: what happened in the video, why do you think this happened, what do you think would happen if these conditions were changed, or if she has shared something about a problem, then what could be the possible solutions to that problem. So questions right from observation to investigation to explanation could be given related to STEM videos. We can have do-it-yourself projects, like make a toy sailboat, demonstrate a chain reaction, show a volcanic eruption. So these kind of topics could be there. There could also be models and diagrams which the teacher can ask students to explain. uh, Students can prepare say three-dimensional model for something or a working model and then talk about it. And this integrates all aspects of STEM. So there's the science concept, you introduce technology and engineering to work on the model, and then maths for proportions, and probably some art also gets integrated, so it becomes STEAM. And it works wonderfully. I also want that when we talk about STEM, we should also encourage children to know more about what's happening in the world. So we can have a topic related to STEM news. We can have topic related to STEM careers. Where children, whenever they can research and find what kind of careers they can pursue if they have interests in physics or chemistry or biology, but or different fields of science, including aeronautics or any other. Design thinking, which is a growing field these days, can be very beautifully, introduced through Flip. For example, every step of design thinking, where we start with brainstorming for a problem, to creating a prototype, or sharing ideas, taking feedback from the community, and finally presenting the final model. I think for every step, the teacher can have topics where Flip can be used. And in addition to that, we also have on our Discovery library featured collections, and we have partners. So we have Minecraft, we have Code, and a whole lot of STEAM related content, which the teachers can directly pick up topics from and use in their classrooms.
That's really stimulating, ma'am. And I understood each and every concept that you talked about, how STEM video can be made by the teacher, and then there can be questions for the children regarding the video, like they have to explain, investigate, and and especially the do-it-yourself projects, like models and diagrams for explanation. I agree to that point. That's the best example of using how STEM can be used through Flip. And when you talked about the STEM and STEAM careers, I think like that's what children need to know, that if they are interested in that field, then what are the future careers for them. And with Flip itself, I think the career guidance can be given in the best way. And even like I think Flip gives them the voice, because I would like to share one example where my teacher tried to use technology in English together here in
Mhm.
STEM. So she gave out the English learners to practice speaking, and here she encouraged them to write out their thoughts either in sentence form or in a bulleted list, and nothing fancy, was just like simple on a blank paper. And then the teachers let them know that they should practice reading what they wrote and time themselves. So if they feel confident with all of the words that they have written, they can record that on Flip, and after recording their thoughts they can listen to the recording, and if they don't like it they can re-record. So it's the best way to enhance their voice and also give them more confidence to come ahead and speak up. So I believe that STEM can be used with Flip at every time and everywhere.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that example. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. So we all have been hearing a lot about Fliphunt from so many years. So we would love to know what exactly is Fliphunt, because it's one of my favorite things, and how can teachers incorporate it into teaching methodology?
Okay. Yeah, so very interesting question. And Flip Hunt is a collection of tasks or topics created by the teacher related to a particular theme, concept, or it could be created around an event as well. So these topics could be independent of each other, but relevant to the main topic, or they could be interconnected. So the way we have treasure hunt, where one clue leads to another, and then finally you find the treasure. Similarly, Flip Hunt also has a number of tasks. And these could be done individually, these could be pair work, or done in groups by students. And how teachers can include this in their teaching methodology is at every step it is possible. So why before she introduces a concept, she can introduce a flip hunt where she or he, the teacher, wants children to engage with the topics, explore about it, or generate their interest. So related to the concept, I can ask them to go and look for some information, I can ask them to click some pictures, interview somebody and find out their opinion about the concept that we are going to learn. So it can be done in different forms. And if you're doing it in school, you can include different areas of the school. You can ask them to do some task in the library, something in the ground, something in a lab or the dance room, or related to different people in the school. So overall, that fun element is there because they're doing it with their friends. So a lot of excitement is generated, and it's absolutely so engaging and exciting for everybody.
I cannot
At the
agree
end of
more.
it,
Sure, ma'am, go
yeah.
ahead.
So at the end of it, you can also have a reward or incentive. And this need not be a material thing. This could be a reward in the form of having lunch with your favorite teacher. This could be something where an extra period of their interest, if they like to have an extra art period or a games period or a French period, that could be granted. So you can add a lot of variety to it. The teachers are free to experiment with it, be creative, and just go ahead with it.
That's amazing, ma'am. And the way you mentioned that how flip hunt is like actually directly proportional to treasure hunt, and I cannot agree more, because like it is basically like we've done that at our school before once. So like
Mhm.
we were trying to find out different clues and in the different areas of the school. And the fun element is obviously with friends, because you think and you brainstorm, and like you mentioned, reward like a lunch with your favorite teacher. And I guess for my class, it will always be the games period, because everybody loves to play. And
Yeah.
I think this is a great way to gamify the subject matter. And I'm surely going to look forward to have Flip Hunt in a forthcoming larger than life fest in our school.
Oh, yes, you must.
Right. So I was reading about you that as an educator, you believe we need to prepare our children for the universe and not just the university. So to ensure that knowledge is useful, how can the educators focus that beyond remembering a concept and can work on like building higher order thinking skills?
Yeah. So, when we talk about preparing children for the universe, it is why I say universe and not just the university is because uh, we are living in times when our in even in the same career or being in the same profile, our jobs are going to be very different from what they were 5 years back. Okay, so every 5 years there are going to be transformation in the ways that we work, and so children will need to be prepared for that uncertainty. And that's why I say they have to be prepared for anything in the universe. And when how do we do that is by building their skills. So if you see, a lot of policymakers are also reviewing and renewing their policies. We see our NEP 2020, and it also talks about reducing the amount of content that we are teaching to students and focusing more on the skills. So what you know is not as important as what you can do. Okay, it's all about skills. So how skills can be developed in children is through application based learning. So when we talk of application based learning, there are certain methodologies which ensure that children get to experience and learn the concepts and apply them to real life. For example, project based learning, theme based learning, design thinking, all these models help children to pick up real life problems and deal with them. Now when we introduce these in the classroom, there is a whole structure to it. Children work in groups. They think of the problem. They think of probable solutions. They share their ideas. They listen to others' ideas. They agree. They also disagree. There are conflicts in the groups. Then, once there are conflicts, they learn to resolve those conflicts also. So, if just imagine if this is happening inside the classroom, I don't need a separate curriculum for the 21st century skills that need to be developed in the children. While they are going through this process, they build their problem solving skills, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, collaboration, and empathy. Okay, so all these things get into all these life skills get integrated into whatever they are doing, and that prepares them for whatever they are going to face in future.
Right, ma'am. That's really persuading because here, I think when we are going about like every 5 years transformation, like you mentioned, we need to learn how to move ahead with time. Like you mentioned, the new education policy 2020, it has motivated so many schools around the country to learn how they can change the techniques to make the children ready for the future. Because, like you said, it is like you don't know it is really important that how much you can do then you can know, and that's how the future skills are really important. And I think with the high order thinking skills, the techniques that our teachers can use to develop them, um, I think that will help students a lot to get engaged, like be active in the class, be cooperative, independent when learning takes place. And if they can learn these skills during the school years of life, then the future ahead for them is really bright.
True.
Right,
And
ma'am.
I think it is very important for teachers to reduce their talking time and increase student talking time. So it
I
all
agree.
determines how this will go forward.
Right, ma'am. Because if students are given the voice, then they will learn how to speak more, they'll know how to interact, and also it'll be like a full packed fun for them because they'll get to share their thoughts with everybody in the class, and then get more friendly and then get more like comfortable with everybody around them.
Exactly. And I really love this about you, Namya. You understand the teaching learning process so well.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Right, ma'am. So, as you know, that emotions help us to communicate with everyone around us. Like people will forget what you said, but people will never forget like how you made them feel. And I think now that students and teachers are together in school after nearly 2 years, and that's the time I was missing so much. I would like to know that how can Flip help the teachers and educators to make feelings a priority.
I think that's a great question. And we all have, the most important thing for each of us is our feelings. How we feel determines how our day goes forward. And mental health is also a great concern these days. It's a growing concern. And we as educators have a big role to play here in guiding our children to manage their emotions, to understand their feelings, and help them develop strategies to cope with stress, because we are living in very in VUCA times, and it is very important for all of us to manage our feelings and respect the feelings of others as well. So here, Flip is an amazing tool where the structure is such that it leads to social learning. And when we are interacting with our friends, when we are communicating with them, and we get to see them face to face. If I share my friend's notebook, if I carry it back, I don't get that personal touch. But when I look at a video, I can personally relate to my friend, and that makes all the difference. So, how teachers can use flip topics? Something to begin with, a check-in. So you can just simply have a feelings check-in activity where you talk about how are you feeling at the beginning of the week or at the beginning of the day, or what are your feelings as we approach the weekend. So these kind of topics can be created, and teacher will get to know who are the students who are very excited about it, who are the children who are little anxious, or who are the children who are really disturbed, and she can accordingly address their needs. There can also be physical activity related topics, because as we all know, physical activity releases happy hormones in our body, and that is what makes a lot of difference. So we can have topics where teacher expects the children to at least record some physical activity thrice a week. So it could be yoga, it could be aerobics, it could be skipping, simple exercise that you are doing, where it becomes a norm or a routine for the children. And if they are physically active, they will feel better. We also can create topics related to mindfulness, okay, where we are meditating, where we are showing appreciation or gratitude, and these kind of activities where we are appreciating others, they make us feel connected to the other person as well. Okay, we see everybody as one of us, and we don't see ourselves separate. And isolation is something that is actually a growing concern these days. We don't want people to isolate themselves, because that leads to depression, that leads to bad mental health. Then we can have topics where we guide children on coping strategies, what they can do if they are feeling low. So educating children about their mental health and taking care of it, self care, is very important. In Flip, we have featured collections in the Discovery Library, and there's a collection about mental health, there's a collection about SEL, and teachers can directly go and pick up topics from there and use them in the classroom. Besides students, I think it's also very important to include parents, because how parents are feeling will also impact the child quite a lot. And we can have topics about concerns that the parents have. So if I'm the teacher, I would really want to have an open door policy where my parents can approach me and share how they are feeling. I would also like to educate my parents and give them tips on parenting, because there are a lot of times when parents feel stressed because of not being able to find the right ways to parent the child. And we can share articles related to parenting according to the age of the children in the class. So these kind of topics can be created. A lot of emotional connect finally is possible when all these videos are being submitted. And you watch these videos, we feel connected to each other. When I'm sharing my feelings and listening to my friends feelings, I know who wants me there, I know who I can support. And so it develops empathy in children, which is very, very important. And if we all have empathy, I think feelings will be taken care of.
That's really encouraging because here, like when it comes to like feelings, that's where, like you mentioned, managing the emotions, developing strategies to cope with stress, like respecting others' feelings, is really important. And I love the example of like the activities through Flip, like giving a task thrice a week to record physical activities that helps to release happy hormones, and that will help you to remain calm and excited throughout the day. And also the example of gratitude, because that is important. Like you're praying to God and you're being grateful to Him to give you a wonderful day and letting you spend time with your family, do different activities. And that's how we all take together, everybody is one through Flip, where you can guide them about self-care, or like you mentioned, tips for parents where they can know how to cope up with stress. So we all are getting emotionally connected to the videos, and that'll like you mentioned again help to develop empathy in children. That is a very important skill, and I agree with that.
I also want to say that students should also be involved in decision making in the school. I think that will be very important to listen to their perspective. So, whatever we plan to do with students, I think it's a good idea to engage them in the process of deciding how to go forward. For example, one of the schools in Fagwara, they created flip topic called Road to Recovery when children were coming back after COVID, when the schools were opening, and they asked the students to give suggestions could be what could help those children, and they created a number of topics related to physical activity, related to gaming, and sharing their feelings. So I think that's a great example of democracy within the school, where everybody gets to speak up.
Right, I agree with that. Like even in our school, there are lots of like we've used Flip in many ways to empower student voice, and like also like listen to them. What like we have a suggestions box in our school. So during the pandemic, that we did not have like we couldn't go to school and put that in the box. So we used Flip that time to take the suggestions for the children. Like what do they want new in the online mode of the classes, and besides that, like when it comes to being actually in the school, so like we also have like student councils where children take like give out their ideas to the head student children who also give it ahead forward to the heads. So in this way, like not just using Flip but also like through physical means, it gets really motivating for children to come out speak their thoughts. But I really love using Flip in that way because during the pandemic that time, children could give suggestions like how do they want to learn and what betterment could be there. So that is really lovely example that you shared, ma'am.
So wonderful. I loved what you shared about your school. Yeah, so way to go if students are being encouraged to, take lead and share. So I think that's great.
Thank you, ma'am. So I would love to know what was your favorite subject in school?
Okay, so my favorite subject in school was biology, and I loved all my biology teachers. I loved to draw the diagrams, and I was very good at it. So I loved the diagrams that I drew as well. And I also enjoyed all the lab activities. We had dissection at that time, and I really loved everything that we did in biology, preparing those slides and looking at those models of animals preserved in the labs. So it was really very engaging for me.
I agree. Like even biology is really good subject. It used to be like when I was in grade six, or when we went for the first time to the lab. When I saw those animals, I got scared. Like, oh my god, what are these? Like, why are the animals here? But now, like, it's usual going to the lab doing activities. So it's nice. Like someday we will learn dissection. So probably I would know how to do that. But frankly speaking, my favorite subject has always been history and physics because I'm always like really into in the past, especially the modern history, like during the independence of India, what all things happened, the Quit India movement and all. So that's the one that I love. And physics is like everywhere around the world. Like everything is using the physics. Like if there's has to exist life on Mars, it has physics in it too. So I just love these two subjects. And it was great hearing from you as well. Biology. It's a great, really great subject.
Yeah. So great. I have heard about that combination for the first time. So either people say I love all the science subjects, or they say I love history and geography. So history and physics. Wow. I think
Thank
that's
you.
great.
Thank you, ma'am. And I also have another subscribe question for you. So that's a situation-based question. If you were going to live on a desert island but could take only one thing with you, what would it be and why?
Books without any second thought. Okay, but one thing, so one book, no, I can't read one book again and again, so I'll probably take Kindle with me where I'll have lots of books.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. Well, like if I was going to go there, I would take a lamp that contains a genie in it. So the genie would do everything for me, so I don't need to take anything else with me.
You
So I
are
won't
very
talk to
smart,
my
Namya.
phone. Thank you, thank you.
That's a great thought.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So it was really lovely talking to you, ma'am. So if anybody has any question for ma'am, you can always for sure put that in the chat. And if I have your permission, ma'am, can we show a few comments that are coming in for us?
Yes, sure, please.
Right. So we have Miss Anne Cosma here. Thank you so much for joining, Anne. It's always excited to have you on the episode.
Hey, Anne.
We have Mr. Narasimha Murthy. Thank you so much for joining, sir. We also have Mr. Alex Isaacs joining us here from New Jersey. Thank you so much for joining. Then Anne Cosma is saying episode 42. Congratulations, Namya. Thank you so much, Anne. And she also says that you're the best.
Thank you so much, Anne.
We also have Miss Monica Joshi joining us. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi.
And we also have Miss Amanda Mashius. Thank you so much for joining again. It's lovely to have you here. And Mr. Alex says that love flip smubble. I agree. That's like the best thing that has
Huge.
been added.
Yes.
We have Miss Archana Khandelwal. Thank you so much for joining, ma'am. Mm, right. Another one from Miss Amanda. Flip gives student voice and helps our dual language learners to do so much. Right. I agree.
Couldn't agree more. Yes. So
We
true.
also have Miss Rochelle. Thank you so much for joining, ma'am. It's great to have you here.
Hi,
And
Rich.
Miss Monica is saying that Fliphunt is one of my favorite, engaging students and gamifying the entire learning.
Absolutely. It's so much fun, Monica.
We have Miss Julie Bennett joining us. Thank you so much for being here, ma'am.
Fantastic,
And
Julie.
another one from Anne is loving this conversation. So many ideas and insights that you can use immediately to support learning communities and empower every voice. We also have Mr. Deepak Pange joining us today. Thank you so much for being here.
Deepak.
And yeah, I guess that's all that we have in the comments. So if you have any question, you can for sure chime in here. And besides that, I would love to know where we can find you online so that the audience watching us can connect with you.
Yeah, so you can find me on LinkedIn, and my profile is Akanksha Arora 10. And on Instagram and Twitter, you can look for Akanksha 10 Arora. So my Twitter handle is Akanksha 10 Arora.
Right. Thank you so much. And
Looking
before we
forward to
sign
connect.
off, oh,
Yeah.
for sure, I'll put that in the description box as well for you all to check it out. And before we end, we would love to have a message from you for the audience.
Okay. So I would say keep learning, keep growing, keep sharing, and keep caring. I think that's it.
That's so cute. That's really great. And even I would like to say that it is the supreme art of the teacher to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. And that example perfectly suits you, ma'am. It was really lovely having you here today on the podcast and learning from your insights. It was a great opportunity for our listeners as well as me to learn from you.
Thank you, Namya. And I absolutely loved sharing about education, sharing about how Flip can be used to, promote learning and sharing voice in the classroom. And like my friend Johnny says, if you can think it, you can flip it. So, and I would encourage everybody to, use Flip and see the transformation in the children in the classes. So, thank you for inviting me here. It was an absolute pleasure, and I totally loved discussing and sharing thoughts with you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you so much, everybody, for joining us and listening to this episode. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, each one, each 10. Have a nice day.